of visualization is a very important as well, obviously. And this sport is probably one of the easiest thing, or going to the gym is one of the easiest things to visualize. You're just going into the gym. Before you lift a weight, you're visualizing how to do it in your head, and you literally just do that weight. Then you just sit down, you stand up, you do whatever you're doing, you're doing it. And for me, that's how I took to the gym, took to strongman so easy.
Welcome to the NeuroStars podcast. NeuroStars offers inspiring and thought-provoking interviews with neurodiverse celebrities and sports stars who have carved successful careers out of their unique neural wiring, and how you can too. Welcome to a celebration of unique minds. That is, stars who have used their unique minds, aka NeuroStars, to their advantage by winning differently. Difference is our superpower.
Okay, I'm Annette Dubois, and I help young people with neurodiversity, with confidence and managing emotions. I am here with Tom Stoltman, twice strongest man and Britain's strongest man, and he was diagnosed with autism at the age of 5. So I appreciate your time today, Tom. Really a pleasure to chat with you. Can you share with me about your journey to becoming the world's strongest man while living with autism? Especially some of the key challenges and how you overcame them.
Yeah, obviously I've been, diagnosed with autism for basically my whole life. So, I'll skip past straight the kids. My life as a child was, it was easy because obviously being 10, 11 years old, kind of having autism, it just, like any other kid, I just went to school. My primary school was very small, so I only had like 40 people in it. So went to school, and all my friends, all the kids, all they want to do is play football, and I love football. So at break time, lunchtime, home time, we just play football, go to class, and just obviously in primary school, you're not getting taught the kind of hard stuff you do when you're a teenager. So it's just more fun when you're in school. So that was just from 9 all the way up to 11. I was just going to school every day, happy, and because I was playing football and having kind of fun in classrooms, doing different things I kind of liked, and just not having too much stuff that overstimulated me and stuff. And then, the journey in strongman was just kind of I think it was kind of a mistake, but a realization that it saved my life, because obviously I wanted to be a footballer. That was my biggest goal in my life. Was, my mum and dad always supported me for whatever I wanted to do. Was it if it was to be a gymnastics, a boss at a company, anything. They never ever been negative to me. They said, you do your own thing. I have 4 other siblings as well, so the hardest thing was for them was to obviously, give me more support than my 2 sisters and my 2 brothers, and me seeing from the out, seeing like my brother going to get a job, my wee brother being successful, my other sisters, getting boyfriends, and mixing with other people. And for me, I was just kind of like, why couldn't I do that? But then when I had a football was the thing that made me feel normal, was the thing that, when I had a football at my foot, I felt like I was the best person in the world. I could talk to people, I could do anything. So when I kind of started fading away from football when I was about 13 years old, 14 years old, because my friends had kind of given up it, they had different lives to live, they were just going on to different things and kind of didn't really, a lot of my friends when I was younger, just if they didn't make professional footballer at 13, 14 year old, they wanted to quit. And that was exactly with me. All in my head all the time was that word quit. All I wanted to do was quit. So if things got hard, I would quit. If I, if something happened at school, I would not quit, or I wouldn't want to go back for ages. So that was the hardest kind of thing. But basically, I'll skip a few of that. So then when I went into the secondary school, in and out of school, in and out of colleges, in and out of jobs and stuff. But the road to kind of being world's strongest man and autism, like I said, was a mistake. I think I was 17 years old, and my big brother, who's 10 years older than me, had started the gym, had been going there and doing all that kind of stuff. So he had kind of seen I was deteriorating. I was locked myself in my room. I was playing Xbox. I was kind of like in a jail cell. I wasn't coming out. My mum and dad were just passing me the food, and I was just doing that because I didn't think there was any worth living, because I failed in this thing I wanted to do, which was football. So anyway, kind of look with a lot of kind of, force, and not like just with a lot of kind of pushing me to every single day, come to the gym, come to the gym, come to the gym. And then finally I just said to him, yeah, I'll come, I'll see what it's like. And, I walked into the gym. It was my worst nightmare. I had my hood up, which was my supportive kind of blanket. I always used to wear a hood. There was people obviously looking at you. There's mirrors, and that's the worst kind of thing. Someone with autism, going into a room with
Very
that
much
full of people. So that for me was very, very. Yeah, I was just very anxious. Just didn't want to do any. I went to the gym for a few days and kind of just didn't really want to do it. But I think because I had Luke, because I was doing this with my brother, and like I had that wee support person there, kind of like like a support teacher you'd get in school, kind of like that. Although he was my brother, he was kind of like a support teacher. He was teaching me the things in the gym, and he was my brother, so I was very comfortable around him. So that kind of helped me push the first kind of couple of months to get into the gym, to kind of get into a routine and just to see where I was. And I never ever wanted to do the gym to make myself physically better. Well, I wanted just to build a wee bit more upper body strength or lower body strength, and just for fitness. And I just wanted to make myself mentally stronger. That was the kind of biggest thing. I think my mum and dad used to say to my big brother, like, Tom seems to be going good at this. Keep him going and see how he does, because that's all they wanted was for me was to be happy and to do something that I loved, and to like come home every day from the thing I was doing and with a smile on my face. And for me, I was smiling in the gym, which was the first that I've ever done. When I've done something, I was going home smiling. I was going home happy. I was very enjoying it. I was saying to mum and dad what I was doing in the gym. Luke was going offshore and back, and whenever he went offshore, I think that's where people started to worry that, would Tom still go by himself? But then I started to go by myself, meeting other people, and just started finding a big family. And even fast forward even more to that, I just think the gym. I say the gym saved my life, because in school I left school with nothing. I left everything. I didn't have no grades. I didn't have any hires. Didn't have any of them kind of stuff. I just left with absolutely nothing. Like I said, tried to go to college and all that, and that didn't work out. So then when I found the gym, the first 2 or 3 months, I just wanted to do the gym. That's all I wanted to do, was go to the gym, lift weights, and I didn't care about making money. I didn't care about anything else. But my mum kind of was diagnosed with cancer, and about 21 years old, that's when she started deteriorating and was getting worse. So for me it was kind of like, right, there's a few things I wanted to do before my mum passed, and that was to get married, to get a house, and to not be successful at Strongman, but to be like, just to keep on being what I am at Strongman. I mean, my mum had seen me win Scotland Straws Man, had made me see me win a few tournaments, and went on this journey, and obviously seen me come from like a shy guy with like the chest down, the head down, to then this guy that blossomed. It was like a sunflower, like, when you close up and then you come out. It was like, wow, how have I done this just from literally touching a barbell and bars? Like, there's nothing, any scientific things did it. No one helped me. It was just going into the gym and touching these weights and seeing my body change, seeing me mentally change, taking aggression out. If I was sad, I was going there. If I was happy, I was going there. So all these endorphins in the gym, this little place helped me. So my mum was buzzing, and I said there was 3 things. So because everyone thought I was going to be living my mum for life, not getting married and not having a house. And, 18 years old, this was after going to the gym for a year. I had met a girl and started talking to her. And the only reason I was talking to her was because the gym helped me talk to people, helped me communicate to strangers, and I knew how to kind of talk to girls. I knew how to talk to strangers, because I was basically getting interviewed in the gym without getting interviewed. I was just talking to people without knowing, and then lifting weights as well. And then, by the time I was 21 years old, no, by the time I was 19 years old, I'd moved out of my mum and dad's house, and 21 years old, I was married. So in that 3 years, I did kind of what I had set out to do, and like, it made my mum and dad proud and everything. And then, obviously, just as basically, being well-strong man with autism, I think autism and strongman, like I'm trying to say, in the gym goes, because it's repetition and you're doing the same thing every single day. And I visualize, a lot of visualization is very important as well, obviously. And this sport is probably one of the easiest thing, or going to the gym is one of the easiest things to visualize. You're just going into the gym, before you lift a weight, you're visualizing how to do it in your head, and you literally just do that weight. Then you just sit down, you stand up, you do whatever you're doing, you're doing it. And for me, that's how I took to the gym, took to strongman so easy, because I was waking up, I was eating, I was going to the gym, I was training, and I was training again, and then I was going to bed, and I was doing that every single day. And me having autism, it was simple and it was effective, and it worked for me every single day. And that's why I think, I got so successful in the sport, and and I wanted to kind of push myself so kind of far, because like I said, when I was younger, I had hurdles and I couldn't get over these hurdles, and I needed my mum, I needed my dad, I needed my brother. But now, since I've been 17, 18 years old, I wanted to make hurdles for myself, and had to had to jump over them myself. So, for example, strongman comes with a lot of interviews, a lot of kind of press stuff, and I never ever thought of that. I thought going to a strongman competition would be lifting weights and going home. So for myself, I had to put cameras in my gym, switch lights on and off, get all different strobe lighting, get different people talking to me from different angles while I was lifting weights, to then know that, right, this is what it's going to be like when I'm going to the strongman events. I'm not going to be just lifting there and silent. There's not going to be any lights. There's going to be different lights. There's going to be different stadiums. So, I kind of did that myself to do that. And, when I go to competitions as well, I'm always like the first out to walk around the arena, to get used to the arena, to get used to the atmosphere. And then that just makes my head kind of calm, and then I can go and perform what I want to do. So, I've learned kind of the last 10, 11 years, this whole journey of strongman, I've had my brother support, I've had my family support, but, you only get so far with them. You have to be able to go and put hurdles in front of yourself and go, right, autism I'm living with for the rest of my life. I can either let it rule me like I did when I was younger, or take charge of it and do stuff and make it so powerful. Because, like I said, I've made it a superpower, like I always talk about, and that's how I've gone from 18 years old into the gym for the first time, to then 10 years later to be the top of the sport and to achieve a lot of things, own a business. It's been very powerful. And like I said, it's just simple stuff that I'm doing, and like I'm OCD at doing it. Like, so for the repetition of planning, I think I'm better at doing that than someone without autism, because I'm so OCD with it. I know that if I do it to 100%, that I will see benefits of it all, and I don't ever get distractions. Like concrete thinking. When I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it, and I won't say there's someone trying to talk to me on the left or the right, or something trying to come up. That won't happen to me. I'll just be like, boom, that's my lane. Look at that. Whereas somebody without, this autism or whatever, if someone talks to them, or they see this thing moving about, they'll get distracted. And I've seen that firsthand. But for me, it's like, right, I've got this vision, I've got this line to follow, and that's my line, and nothing stops me. So, and I think that's how my brain has been working for the last, especially the last 3 or 4 years. And I used to talk to, as well, clinical psychologist. But before I won World Strongest Man, I joined a clinical psychologist, and that was one of the best things I've ever done, because I understood autism, but I didn't understand it from like a mindset kind of point of view. And that's how I won World Strongest Man, because I talked to her and I changed my mindset. So I called it a championship mindset, and I wrote on Facebook 2 months before World Strongest Man that I was World Strongest Man. And that's confidence in myself. That's autism as well, being confident. No other person in the world would write they're going to win World Strongest Man 2 months before a competition. And I believed in myself. I visualized it every single day. And that's the thing, like I said, that's why it's so powerful, because I live every day now visualizing. Like, I wake up visualizing what I'm going to do. I visualize big, massive goals that I've got. And I know that if I visualize it every single day, it'll come true. Like, I visualized the last 2 years at World Strongest Man, how, when my mum passed, I made a promise, and I kept that promise for 3 years. I made that promise of, getting a house, getting a wife. So all these stuff that I visualize, that I do in just day-to-day life now, it's very powerful. So.
And for young people, they might struggle with sort of how to visualize. So do you have any tips on sort of how to get started?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really struggle. Even I've only really started doing it properly, like I said, the last 3 years. But I think, what I do is I write things down. So this is since I've been a young boy. I've always had a whiteboard, like, somewhere in my house. And for me, so like for World Strongest Man, for example, for my next competitions, I've got a competition in October, let's just say. And so I write, like, how many days it is to the competition. So, for example, it could be 50 days, say, to the competition. And I'll visualize that, and I'll draw a podium, and I'll write Tom on the top of it. Then I'll write Tom, and then I'll write Tom, and then it just says, like, number 2 and number 3. So I'll visualize me being on top. So what I do is, then when I get out of bed, when I go downstairs, the first thing I see every single morning is, when I open that fridge, is 50 days to the competition, Tom Stoltman number 1, and then whatever else, my wife will write a motivational quote, or like, like just something that gets me motivated and helps me visualize that goal every single day and helps me keep motivated. And I think that's the most important thing with, young kids, or, people with autism. They kind of see this, maybe they see things and then kind of things get too hard, or they don't have that kind of thing they can put their, like, they can kind of glance onto. And that's what I thought I had. People used to tell me, used to say to me, you're going to be Welsh Stars, man, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. But people can say that. But I think for you to visualize it, you have to have something physical written down. And like, for me, I have things written down all over the house, but that whiteboard that I have, whatever my goal is, it doesn't have to just be strawman. Like, so I write down, say I'm going on holiday, I'll write down holiday, and then I'll write down like sunshine, me with my wife and stuff, and my wife will write it all down. So I don't actually write anything on it down. She's the one that touches it, and then first thing in the morning, I'm the one that visualizes it. So the only thing that changes on that whiteboard is the number of days to the competition, or the number of days to the holiday, and the picture and the motivational quote and everything else does the same. So I know that when I'm waking up, I'm seeing the same picture, the same motivational quote, and it's visualizing that every single day. And then you automatically just do it. And that's how I've always done it, and that's how I've learned to do it. But I always still have that white. Even today, to this day, I have 2 competitions in October, and the only things that change are the 2 numbers of the days leading down to it. And I think there's a podium on it with saying Tom number 1, and then there's like no one else matters or something as a quote. And that's how I live it every day. I wake up every morning, see that, and then that just gets me that visualizing, like, smile on my face, like, yeah, I can, if I visualize this, it's going to happen. So I think it's very important. Even, like I said, even since I got diagnosed, whiteboards, writing things down really helped me visualize things. Even when I was in school, writing things down on whiteboards, I took it in more than just a teacher saying to me, what's 10 plus 10? I had to write it all down. So I think people with autism, and that is when things are physically in front of them, they take that and program that into their head, and that they make that into then a reality.
So get used to sticky notes, yes?
Yes.
That's what I coach young people on. See it. So write it down, see it, and actually say it out loud. You probably do the same. So you don't just look at it, you're actually saying it out loud, and you're having people around you saying it with you as well, which can be really helpful. I think probably what's coming out of this as well is the ability to ask for help and know that help is really needed around you. So you've had a wonderful support network around you that has sort of encouraged you, especially in those early stages. Particularly with young men, asking for help is quite a difficulty. Any advice that you've got for them when they're struggling?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you just said, men, because we're the alphas of, women are the ones that open up and are, vulnerable and emotional. But like, a lot of men keep it private, and that's the worst thing. I kept it private for a long time with autism. I didn't open up to my friends till I was 13, 14 years old, and then some people didn't even know. When I came into Strawman, the first few years, people didn't really know that I was autistic. So, and there's a lot of weight on your shoulders when you have that, because, like you said, from the out, people think, oh, is he shy, or why is he this? Why has he got to suit up? Why is he getting extra support? Why is he getting this? But then when I stood up in front of my friends and told them, I was like, the weight was off my shoulder. But yeah, I mean, I think speaking out is the most important thing you can do in your life. And I'm saying that because I did it I got diagnosed, and then 4 years later, I told my friends. And, the reason I did that is because I knew that I was going into this bigger school. I knew there was going to be from 40 people to 500 people. And I knew that I'd get looked at and judged different. And for me to make my life, maybe not like super easier, but to make my life that maybe 20-30% easier to get through school and to get through different things, I had to tell my friends, and then my teachers had to understand. And as soon as I told my friends, they understood every single thing, and it was so good. Like I said, have that support system of, they didn't just leave me just because I was different and had autism. They supported me and understood why I had different support. And yeah, that's why I think it's still hard for kids these days and not to open up, especially the school system and all that, because I think educational system for autism is one of the worst still to this day. And that's why I try and call it a superpower. And I think if you name it as not autism or not disability or something, I name it now as a superpower. I think it's so much easier now for kids, because I'm the kind of, I've opened up people that people have come to the shop, people have come to expos. I've seen a kid a few months ago that never comes out of his house hardly, but he came to see me at an expo which had 2,000 or 3,000 people, and just wanted to thank me. And that was just like a 9-year-old kid, because I called that a superpower. And now he's going out of his house now because he's not known as an autistic kid. He's not known as someone with, these all different things. He's known as this kid with a superpower. And, when kids watch, I always say to it, like, the reason people open up is because I always say Superman, Batman, and all these guys have got superpowers. You're like them, so tell the world, be as loud as you can and tell the world. And that has really helped people. And that's like, I think it's really important to call it that, because and it's not just, I don't think it's even just kids. I think it's for the adult side as well. Like, kids, if they get diagnosed at 7, 8 years old, they can live with that for the first years, and then they understand it a bit more. But if you're a 30, 40-year-old adult and you've been living your life the way you have for 30, 40 years, and then all of a sudden you've been diagnosed with autism, or you're like, geez, I've been doing my life all wrong. So yeah, I think superpower, but I think, if you can open up as quick as you can, and if people laugh at you, they laugh at you. If you know your real friends and your real support system once you've told them who you actually are, and this is you for the rest of your life, and you don't change for anybody. I never change for nobody. I mean, I've been the same person since I've been diagnosed since now. I only have a select few friends. I only trust my family, and even my friends, I keep them at arm's length, because at the end of the day, they're not your blood, and they can turn on you in a heartbeat. So you need to kind of look out to who you're doing, and especially now, because I'm more successful, you also have to keep that arm's length away, and the people that are come back in your life. But yeah, I think superpower and changing what autism actually is helps people open up so much more than they have been in the last 10, 11 years. So.
Very much so, and we've all got wonderful strengths and positive sides to us. So I guess it's when diagnosed, it's an understanding, certainly not a negative label, but it's then helping someone to develop their strengths and the wonderful qualities they've got to give to the world. Let's just for a moment talk about stress and anxiety, huge amounts for people struggling with autism, just because you process things in a different way, and quite often emotional exhaustion and stress and anxiety are quite prevalent in your lives. You've had some stressful situations over your time in terms of competition and also personally as well. What would you say is a couple of tips to manage stress and anxiety levels?
Yeah, I mean, you just said they're emotional. I think that's one of my biggest ones. And, even to this day, like, I'm moving house, and I've been just, the overstimulating, a lot of stress, a lot of kind of things going on, so much. And then that then goes into, my gym life, and I struggle in the gym, which then puts more stress and anxiety on me. So, yeah, I think for myself, I've really learned that. So I treat... This was hard for me. It's true. I used to not have a balance in my life. So I used to always go to the gym Monday to Sunday, and think, if I don't go to the gym Monday to Sunday, I'm going to not win competitions. And that really got me stressful, because obviously it made me let my wife, my family, and it was just, all I cared about was the gym. So that really got me a lot of stress and anxiety. I mean, competitions don't really do much to me, but it's stuff to out the gym. So what I do, I always make sure that on a weekend, for me to manage, because obviously Monday to Friday for me is very, like I said, stress and anxiety is kind of through the roof. Not gym, managing business, again, moving house now. So I always make sure that on the weekend that I spend as much time as I can with my family and my wife, and not talk about anything related to what I do. So not talk about strongman, not talk about the gym, and I never ever step foot in my gym on the weekend unless I have to do something. But 90% of the time, for me to manage my stress and anxiety, I sometimes take my wife away just to a cabin where there's no one else there, and it's just me and her. Or I'll go and spend really quality time with my dad. Maybe we go for food, or we do something like that, and that just takes all the stress and all the kind of anxiety away from you, and you just kind of live that normal life of, this is just me and my family, this is just me and my wife, and we're just doing things we love. And I've really, over the last year or two, kind of started managing that, and my stress and anxiety levels I'm emotional stress, I've been down, because I'm doing what I love, but I'm also caring about the people I love, and I'm also making time for my family. I'm making time for my friends. I'm making time for the people that matter in my life. So I think that's for me that's the most simple way. I think, I've learned the hard way, but I always think like, if you've got a busy week Monday to Friday, and you're able to even, put aside a day or 2 days in the week or the weekend to, go do something with people you love, or go do stuff that makes you happy and takes all the stress, anxiety away. That's the best thing to do, because I've learned, like, I said, the weekends when I go away with my wife, we just have fun. We're just like 10-year-old kids,
Out, right?
again, running around. You're on the beach. We're doing these things that, that kids do. And, when you see kids playing and running around, they're so happy. Adults, I just don't want to take stress. But when on the weekend now, I just think like I'm a big kid. I'm just running around, after my nieces and nephews, my wife. We're doing loads of fun stuff. And that controls my stress, because then on Monday, when Monday comes, a new week, I'm kind of refreshed and ready to hit that week. And then obviously, there might be some stress along the way that week, but then I know that on Saturday and Sunday that I'm going to then enjoy this chill out time and stuff as well. So that's how I kind of managed it. Obviously, some weeks are worse than others, but there's never a time now where I'm like totally stressed and totally anxious that I just have to break down, because I got this Saturday and Sunday now to go and recharge my batteries, basically.
So balance, really. That's what it's
yeah,
about.
balance in there too.
Yeah, because those in education still, of course, you mentioned about education. The school environment is very, very overstimulating. There's lots of people, lots of things to do, which can sort of add to the emotional stress. So finding the balance, recharging after the school day, or perhaps recharging at the weekend, really good advice. And lastly, to finish off, any advice for anyone that wants to follow their passion, who has neurodiversity, autism, who is really sort of struggling, any advice to follow their passion?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's have the right support people, and never ever let someone say you can't do it. That's the thing I was really lucky with, was, my mum and dad may have thought me being a footballer was probably the most stupid thing in the
I
world.
like your gymnastic idea, actually.
Yeah, so I like, I used so like as soon as I said that to my mum and dad, they supported me from day one, and that's when you've got the most support around you. So I think it's being around positive people. If you're around positive people and you have a family that generally cares and generally wants to see you, not success in maybe a sport, just success in life, and have that smile on your face. Because I think, for me, being happy is more than being the strong. When I'm happy, I'm the strongest guy in the world, not just in strength, but emotionally and mentally. And I think that's all you can ask for your kids is, when your parents see you do something that you're smiling with, that's a win in anybody's eye. So, and that's what my mum and dad said. As soon as they see me smiling, they had completed their life. So, and that's what I say to everybody now is, as long as you got a smile on your face, it can be gymnastics, it can be going for a walk, it can be any single thing you want. Just because your friend's doing something different, as long as you got a smile on your face and you're enjoying it every single day, do it. So.
Life is for living. I love that. Thank you very much. This is going to be so helpful for so many people who perhaps haven't been diagnosed, but understand that they might be neurodivergent, those that have autism or other challenges in life. And like you, Tom, finding their superpower. So I really appreciate your time.
Please make sure you subscribe to get all the latest episodes and inspirational content.